A calm, unsuspecting morning would soon turn to terror as over the next 2 days, 144 tornadoes would touch down in 15 states, leaving devastation in its wake. The tornado would touch down as a small stovepipe, producing EF0 to EF1 damage as it continued to widen out. The tornado would then rapidly widen out to 1/4 of a mile wide. Just after passing over Rock Creek, the tornado would do its first EF3 damage to an apartment building, collapsing the upper walls and being rated at EF3, 160 miles per hour. The tornado would continue on, eventually reaching Shackleford Road, where it would collapse all walls of a home, leaving debris scattered. This would earn the tornado an EF3, 165 mile per hour rating. This tornado would sadly kill 1 person and injure 54 others as it lifted just to the north of Jacksonville, Arkansas. Just 15 minutes after the Little Rock EF3, another supercell in Iowa would produce a monster tornado. Immediately, the tornado would drill into the ground, producing EF2 damage to a barn. The tornado would meander its way closer and closer to the town of Keota, Iowa. It would pass barely to the west of Keota at EF3 to EF4 intensity, scouring and leaving cyclidal marks in the ground. It was just north of Keota where a family home would be completely obliterated. Trees would be debarked and cars would be left unrecognizable. This would earn the tornado a rating of EF4, 170 miles per hour. Unbelievably, this tornado would have no fatalities and only 3 injuries. The wind tornado would begin producing EF2 damage shortly after it touched down, ripping the roof off of a home. It would begin to widen out as it roared its way into the town of Wynne. The town would take a direct impact, with businesses, homes, and a high school being damaged or completely destroyed. The tornado was on the ground for over an hour and 20 minutes, unfortunately killing 4 people and injuring 26 others. As the wind tornado lifted, the next monster was just getting started. Quickly producing EF3 damage, the tornado would make its way towards the town of Covington, barely missing it just to the south. The tornado would sweep an unanchored home clean off its foundation, being rated at EF3, 150 miles per hour. It would then quickly track to the northeast, shrinking in size, where it would eventually lift just to the north of Brownsville, Tennessee. Sadly, the tornado would have 1 fatality and 28 injuries. The scariest and most violent tornado of the outbreak forms just east of Robinson, Illinois at 8:58 p.m. As it tracked towards the town of Sullivan, Indiana, debarked trees and ground scouring were visible. Passing just to the south of Sullivan, the tornado would demonstrate violent damage, granulating debris, and leaving cyclidal marks in the ground. Sadly, the tornado would have 6 fatalities and 9 injuries. And with that, the outbreak came to a close. Unfortunately, the outbreak would have 33 deaths and 211 injuries. It would also cause $5.5 billion in damages.